Let's go ahead and get started. Good morning, everybody. Let's start seated, any comfortable seated position. And if you do have a pillow, a blanket, or a bolster, you're welcome to lift your hips up just a little bit. This could help to maybe reset your hips and your low back slightly. Let's begin with some mindfulness with our breath, placing one hand on the belly. It can be left or right, and then placing another hand up on the chest or the sternum region. You can even press just slightly with the palm of the hand into the sternum. So you're pressing into this large bone that actually protects the heart space. As you inhale, bring the breath down into your belly and push your stomach into your lower hand. Inhale, pushing the stomach out. And then exhale, slightly press with the hand and pull the stomach muscles in. So we're creating an active expansion and contraction of these stomach muscles. Inhaling, pushing the stomach muscles out. Exhale, pulling the muscles in. Maybe even bowing the head. Closing the eyes, continuing to move the muscles in the belly, lengthening through the spine. So imagining that there's a string that moves from the tailbone, a line of energy that comes up through the heart, through the middle of the brain, and from the crown of the head. And it just ever so gently encourages a lift, a lengthening through the entire trunk, spine, crown of the head, the whole body lengthening towards the sky. Softening our gaze, trusting that the belly will continue to move in a natural rhythmic way. Inhale, expansion. Exhaling, subtle contraction. Bow your head enough so that an egg could roll off your head. And now notice the sensation of ease in the base of your skull. So notice that there is a sense of peace or release of energy at the very base of the skull and around the neck. Perhaps trace that sense of ease up behind the ears, to the temples, and then behind the eyes. And notice if you're able to soften the muscles behind your eyeballs, between the brain and the eyes themselves. We could always keep the hand on the heart as we isolate the breath in the belly. The hand on the heart is reminding us to embrace stillness in the chest space. As we embrace stillness in the heart, invoking a sense of stillness and peace from within us, all around us. A couple more easy breaths here, breathing down into the belly, neck is soft, behind the ears, soft, temples, behind the eyes, soft. When you're ready, lower the hands. Let's lengthen through the spine again, roll the shoulders back, and maybe even turn the palms up to encourage the shoulder blades to slip down just a little more towards the back pockets or towards the floor. Lengthening up through the sternum and the ribs, opening up the belly, lower the head just a little bit. Let's practice this morning Bastrika, the cleansing breath used to stimulate energy, alertness, and also used to flush out stress hormones that could be floating around your belly organs. So to do this breath, what we do is we take a big inhale through the nose, and then we exhale forcibly from the mouth with a ha. So it kind of looks like this. Now, when we inhale, we do want to feel that the belly is rounding out as much as possible. And when we do that, we're pulling the stomach muscles in very forcibly. Something else we might want to do with this is mula bandha. So as we're doing that active, we're keeping the muscles engaged in the pelvic floor to support the bladder and other vital organs that are low in the back. So to begin, exhale all the way and pull the muscles up in your pelvis. It's called a urethral squeeze or mula bandha. Inhale and hold the muscles up in the pelvis. Round out the belly, hold the muscles in the pelvis, and now one big hop. Relax the pelvis, inhale. Hold, pull the belly in, pull the muscles up. Relax the stomach, relax the pelvis, inhale. Pause, pelvic muscles lift, belly muscles in. Just a few more. Relax the pelvis, inhale. Pause, lift the pelvis muscles, big hop. Relax the pelvis, inhale. Contract pelvis, big hop. Just one more. Pelvis relaxed. Contract the pelvis, belly pulls in. And now completely relax. Good. Let's take our legs out. And you might want to open the knees up and the feet out a little wider than your hips. I'm going to turn sideways. That way you'll get a view of what my spine and my back are doing during this movement. So we're going to move into a seated cat and cow expression. For the seated cat and cow, we can always place our hands just around the sides of the thighs or even just softly behind the kneecaps. So notice if there's any pulling and just try to take it easy, be conservative with your grip on the legs. So from here, come forward and feel that you can open the legs enough, making space for the ribs, the chest, and the belly to comfortably move forward energetically. From here, pull up through your ribs and open the throat. Big inhale here. As you exhale, draw the belly button in, round the spine, round the shoulders, and drop the chin in the head. Inhale, coming forward, breathing in through the nose if possible. Exhale, rounding back, exhaling from the throat, keeping the mouth closed, preserving heat and energy. Inhaling through the nose, coming forward, seated cow. Exhaling from the throat, lips together. Let's try maybe 3 or 4 more repetitions like this. If you're noticing any discomfort in the tailbone or the low back, you could always keep the hips still and isolate this movement with the belly and the chest and shoulders. So the hips could always stay anchored to create more comfort. Let's do one more wherever you are, coming forward, pulling up through the ribs, opening the throat, letting all of that lymphatic fluid drain from the neck. And then exhale, pressing the chin down, squeezing those lymphatic nodes. When you're ready, coming to center. Let's take our hands down on the floor gently beside us. So the hands can come out so that the fingertips are just sort of like kind of propping up. So we don't have to flatten the palms and create any pressure in the wrist. You can prop up onto the fingertips here. And you can move the hands a little bit behind you with the fingertips back or slightly out to the side. If it is comfortable to flatten the palm, feel free to do so. From wherever you are, let the knees begin to sway And then lift your hip up. So just let your body go left or right with this. Coming to center, letting the knees sway over to the other side. Push into that back leg and lift up the back hip. So we're gently opening up the front of the body and the front of the hip, stretching big. So the movement can stay very conservative. It can be a knee sway. This has a lot of benefits to help squeeze the lymph nodes that are low in the groin and in by the kidneys as well. The movement can progress and become this really big lift with your back leg straight. You could even squeeze the buttocks muscle as you slightly lift. Just introducing some subtle sensation, rocking the body weight through the SI joints, gentle on the sciatic nerve here. Let's match the breath to this. Exhale as you twist. Inhale as we come back to center. Exhale, gentle twist. Inhaling center. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling from the throat. Lips stay pressed together. Let's do one more to each side. So we'll take our sweet time to even it out. Absolutely no rush. When you're ready, let's come all the way over to one side. And let's meet in all fours position. I am using my mat today to prop up my hands. As we're moving into an expression of child's pose, you're welcome to keep your hands flat on the floor. If you know that you're wanting to work more with your range of motion, with your shoulder flexion, then I recommend putting a block, a blanket, a pillow, or rolled up mat under your hands. When you're on the floor, the arms are probably like this. But as soon as we put something under the hands, it's going to elevate the hands slightly, and it encourages just a little more of a stretch under the armpit. And we're also using this again for lymphatic drainage over by the breast and the rib region. So from wherever you are, take a moment and establish where your body is able to experience the most ease and comfort. Traditionally, you will see child's pose with the hips touching the heels, but we know that yoga is for everybody, and we're going to move towards comfort here. So if this is bringing any discomfort to your knees, come forward, allow the pressure to come off the knees, and it could look more like a puppy dog pose instead of child's pose. So give yourself a little bit of time. We're going to hold this pose for about a full minute. You could also open the knees really wide. This is a way to make space for comfort, less pressure on the belly. If you've been having any digestion issues, just maybe residually from the holiday festivities, you might want to avoid pressure on your belly. Continue to shift and move your body at any time. Move whenever your body wants to move. Be still whenever your body is craving stillness. Let's take the next 5 to 10 breaths here, embracing some silence. And again, remember to make accommodations for yourself as needed. Inhale through the nose, exhale from the throat, and keep the lips softly pressed together. At least a couple more easy breaths here, absolutely no rush. Breathe down into the low back. Breathe across the middle back. Breathe up to the space behind the heart between the shoulder blades. And then let it all go. When you're ready, slowly walk the hands in. Let's bring our knees in. If you'd like to take a downward facing dog from here, we might want to keep a little bit of elevation under the heel of the hand. This is to take pressure off the fingers and the wrist. You could also come down onto your elbows or flatten your palms to the floor. No matter where you are, as we come forward, let's slightly tuck the tailbone under and round the spine. So we're cradling the pelvis and the other organs in the belly. Tucking the toes, we can lift the knees. And as we take our weight back, slowly opening up through the hips, hinging the hips back behind us. Let's hang our head loose between the elbows or loose between the biceps. And no matter where you are with this, shake the head yes. Let's turn it left and right. Try a few long exhales here from the throat with the mouth open. Big inhale through the nose. And then exhale, like a big sigh of relief. Let's try that a few more times. If you'd like to walk the dog a little bit, let's alternate a heel press. We could do this same movement from kneeling by taking one leg back at a time. So no matter where you are, establish some sort of a stretch behind the knees, all the way back to the backs of the ankles, the Achilles tendon area. So we're just trying to stretch through the backs of the legs with little to no pressure in the hip joint here. Matching breath to movement. Inhale as you lengthen one leg. Exhale as you move through center. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, center. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, center. Take your time, even it up on left and right. Let's establish a still point for the body. If you're on your elbows, lower the knees for a moment. From either down dog or from all fours, let's step 1 foot forward at a time to find some expression of a forward fold or even monkey pose for the body. We'll hang the head nice and loose. Again, maybe shaking the head yes, and turning it left and right. Allow the exhale to possibly deepen sensations in this stretch. Inhale through the nose, and then exhale from the throat. And allow the exhale with the emptying of the lungs to maybe bring your chest a little closer towards the thighs. Take the feet out wider if that's more comfortable for your body. Maybe even turn the toes out and the heels in and bend the knees a little bit. We can always drop the hips back behind us for comfort. Let's keep the back of our neck relaxed. When you're ready, let's begin walking the hands slowly to the shins and then to the thighs. Pause for a moment so we're giving our blood pressure enough time to stabilize. If you're prone to that woo-woo feeling, I know all of you well enough in this class to know that you know what that woo-woo feeling is coming up really fast. So just slow down as you come up. There's absolutely no rush. We can always walk the hands up a little higher, maybe even pause at the hips. And at some point, let's bring our feet towards each other into mountain pose. So mountain traditionally is interpreted as the feet at hips width. In Vini Yoga, you can change that and turn it into a lot of different anatomical interpretations. So it can be finding the hip bones, the pelvis bones, and then drawing a line down to your knees and ankles. So it may look like the hips are wider than the stance of the feet. You could take the feet out as wide as the actual fleshy hip if that's more comfortable. This mountain foundation can change at any time to accommodate your comfort. Let's find mountain and open the palms of the hands, sweeping the breath a few times. Inhale, sweep the arms up, big circle. Exhale the arms back and around, just like you're doing a backstroke movement, swimming. Inhale, open. Little pump of the knees, encouraging the energy to move through the body from the soles of the feet. Gather the breath. Exhale, sweep it back, open the chest. Option to close the eyes here. Feeling the practice rather than needing to see it or concern ourselves with any specific alignment. Feeling our way through the practice, moving towards as much comfort as possible. Let's do one more big inhale, big exhale with those sweeping arms. When you're ready, let's meet with the hands at the heart, Anjali Mudra, our seal of physical reverence. Take the left foot back, a short stride, and let's lunge forward with that right knee. Left foot back, right foot forward. Inhale, bringing the arms straight up overhead and opening up the palms. Let's sweep the hands behind us to a chest expansion. We might lace the fingers or stack the arms, maybe just for today, left arm on top of the right arm if we're having our left leg dominant. As we inhale, puff up the ribs, bow out the chest. Exhale, straighten the right leg, flip the hips back, and let's slowly lower down, maybe just a third or half of the way, pausing here. We may want to keep the hands by the back or at any time release those hands onto the leg, supporting the spine in some way. We can hold it here or exhale, lower down a little more with the breath, maybe even dropping the head, softening the entire back of the neck, behind the ears, the temples, and softening behind the eyes. Notice if there's any tension in the jaw. And on the exhale, maybe breathe from the throat, that ha breath, as if you're going to try to fall the mirror. Breathing in through the nose, out from the throat. One more ha breath. When you're ready, let's bend the right knee. Walk the hands to the shin or the thigh. Lengthen the spine. Create a flat back in the next breath or two. From this flat back, let's walk the hands in towards the body, bringing our spine to neutral, establishing a strong warrior one stance. Imagine you're holding on to a big balloon. Imagine the balloon is filled with helium, so there's a sensation of this lengthening or this encouragement to rise towards the sky while the feet stay rooted into the earth. Maybe even close the eyes and notice where you feel most centered. We may want to shift forward a little more or shift back a little more. Noticing the center even in the feet. If we roll to the inner edges of the feet, roll to the outer edges of the feet, where do we feel centered in the front foot? Where do we feel centered in the back foot? Feeling is how we communicate to the universe. So by feeling our way through the practice, by feeling centered, we're able to communicate to the universe and affirm, I am centered. I am living a centered and balanced life. Inhaling once more, lengthening through the hands, grounding through the feet. As we exhale, let's lower the hands down to the hips. Stepping forward, establishing our strong mountain stance again. Let's gather the breath a few times, maybe closing the eyes to center. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, sweeping back. Exaggerating a little bit of a bend in the knees, encouraging healthy flow of the pranic force from the earth up through the body, encouraging healthy blood flow as well. Let's do a couple more, no rush. As you're finishing this next exhale, we'll meet with our hands at the heart again. When you're ready, stepping the right foot back and bending into the left knee. Establishing a centered sensation in the body. Inhale, arms rising up overhead. And then sweeping those arms behind us. Any chest expansion that is comfortable. If we're stacking the arms, just for today, stacking the right arm on top of the left, so we're swapping out that dominant channel of energy whenever we are stacking the arms. From here, we can always straighten the left leg, keep a little kink in the knee. Inhale, pull up through the ribs, bow out the chest, open the throat. Advanced version of the pose, lifting the edges of your mouth. Same face, all poses. One more big inhale. Exhale, slowly press the hips back. We may want to bend the front knee a little more to create more stability. Let's pause at a third or half of the way, keeping the spine long. At any time, if we want to do maybe a little bit of a check-in with the spine or even a self-correction, remember cow pose. So we began class with really pushing the hips back and pulling the ribs forward and up. And then we did a rounding with the spine into cat. Most of our spines will naturally round as we go down. To self-correct, we mindfully move into a cow type position with the spine. We could always hold it here and lower down or release the hands for support. If you have yoga blocks, hands on a block or blocks, maybe even if you have a blanket or a pillow, let's hang the head loose, shake out the head and neck. Tune into that sense of ease behind the neck, at the base of the skull. That sense of ease wrapping behind your ears to the temples and between the mind and the eyes. Exhale from the throat, that ha breath. You may want to even Experiment with visualizing that ha breath. As we exhale, seeing the breath leave like this gray, heated vapor energy. To safely come up, let's come up maybe just a third or halfway. Establish a flat back, release the hips behind you, lengthen through the spine. Let's breathe with a flat back, breathe with neutral spine. When it feels right for you, walk the hands in, lift up just a little more with ease. Easy does it, being kind to our blood pressure. Inhaling the arms up and overhead, warrior one. Let's feel for center in different planes of movement. So first, maybe feeling for center forward and back. We can shift forward into that front foot and then back, maybe even closing the eyes or looking down and feeling for that place where we're able to experience the most comfort, the most ease. And now maybe from the insides of the feet to the outsides of the feet, you could roll to the inside of your left foot and then to the outside. Notice where it feels centered. Roll to the inside of the right foot and the outside of the right foot. Establish where you feel centered. And eventually embrace stillness with those centered sensations. Communicating to the universe, communicating to a higher power, communicating to the spirit. I feel that I am centered. I am supported. I am balanced. In this moment, I have all that I need. Imagine you're holding on to a big helium balloon. There's that sensation of being guided towards the sky. And at the same time, the feet are drawing into the earth. Just a couple more easy breaths here. When you're ready, relax the hands. Let's shift our weight forward and step forward. Strong mountain expression. When you're ready, we could always hold it here and breathe. Find the breath at the heart or sweep the arms. Gather the breath a few times once more. Notice what your body is wanting in each breath. Does it want stillness? Does it want movement? What do you intuitively feel the body needs in each breath? And the body can change its mind at any time. Inhale through the nose, exhale from the throat. Lips stay pressing together. One more easy breath with a flow. Let's establish any still point with the body. Notice if it feels better to position the feet out a little more wide or a little more narrow. Let's just find a firm, supported foundation in preparation for our standing balancing postures today. We might want to lower the chin and the head and look past the nose and cheeks. Find one point somewhere just past the tip of your nose or past the cheeks and tip of your nose, establishing drishti. Maybe even send your breath to that space, to that point of focus. Draw the inhale from that point, and then push the exhale out back into that point. Let your weight slightly shift left and right, and allow the body to choose for you what foot might want to be your pillar of support. So I'm going to stand on my right leg and begin lifting my left knee, pointing the left toe down towards the floor. Option to bring the hands underneath the thigh of that lifted leg if it feels like a comfortable reach. Or if you have a yoga strap nearby, you can always place a strap under the thigh and hold on to that strap close to your body. If it feels comfortable to reach for your foot with both hands, you're welcome to hold on to your foot. Or whatever knee is lifted, take that same hand to the inside of your leg and hold on to your big toe. So you have a lot of different options to play with this particular position. Now, no matter where your hold is, you can keep that knee bent or begin to sweep the leg out in front of you. This can be done close to some sort of a support, maybe with a hand by a wall, and then holding the leg up, pointing the toe, extending out. You could even use your means of support to put your foot onto a wall or onto a supportive chair or table. No matter where you are, establish where the body is able to experience weight bearing on one leg. That's going to really embody the essence of this pose, getting all of the weight onto one leg. So we're wanting to emphasize this single weight bearing to promote healthier bone density through the leg and the hip, and then of course up through the spine and shoulders. Staying here for maybe 2 more breaths. You can always come out of the pose, exit, jump back in. When you're ready, slowly lower the leg. Maybe even shake out the knees a little bit. Let's take our time and shift into the other leg. Reposition your body as necessary for support. Feeling that our standing leg, that pillar of support, roll to the inner and outer edge of the foot. Feel for center. Then slowly lift the other leg, pointing the toe. Take advantage of all the variations in this pose. We can do it totally different from left to right. If you have a yoga strap, you can always grab that strap. Placing the strap behind the thigh. We can hold on with one hand or both hands. Option to extend the leg out. Again, the essence of the pose is getting all of the weight onto one leg as much as possible. Continuing to breathe easy, shoulders pressing away from the ears, crown of the head lengthening to the sky. Just Just a couple more easy breaths here. When you're ready, establish a firm foundation with both feet down on the floor. Let's kick off the legs, roll out the ankles. If you have some water nearby, feel free to go ahead and grab a sip. If you're looking for different ways to come down to the floor from standing in an effort to protect the spine, beginning from mountain, we inhale the arms up and overhead. Exhale, sweep the arms back and around. Let's push the hips back and place the hands on the thighs. We can slowly walk the hands down. If you have a chair or a wall nearby, I would place the hands on that for a means of support, or even a yoga block in front. Let's take one leg back, lower the knee, and then the other leg back, both knees down. From here, sweeping the feet to one side and the hips to the other, we make our way down into seated on the floor. From here, we are going to lie down on our backs. So this is how we go from seated to lying down with hopefully the least amount of impact on blood pressure. So the least amount of irritation to vertigo, dizziness, and other conditions that are relative to blood pressure. To go from seated to lying down, you can always have your knees to one side and then slowly use your hands to lie down on the floor. I am using a little bit of support under my head today. And then from here, we can slowly begin to roll onto our backs. If you know of a more comfortable way to lie down on the floor, please go ahead and take your path of least resistance. Let's meet with our upper body, head and neck comfortable. Check in with the head and the neck. Notice the position of your chin. If it's very open, you might want to reposition your head. If it's not comfortable with the chin slightly down, add in a pillow or another blanket under the head and neck. Let's meet with our knees bent at hips width, taking the hands down beside us, palms facing down. As we inhale, let's pull back through our heels and slowly lift the hips. So the hips might come up an inch or two. They might come up a little higher into bridge. Imagine a yoga block between the knees, squeezing and activating the inner thigh muscles. Exhale, slowly relax the spine and hips. Let's repeat that with the breath, squeezing through the inner knees and thighs. Inhale, pull the hips back and lift the hips. Exhale, slowly lower down, flowing bridge. You're welcome to add in the arms to this. Inhale, arms are still. Exhale, hips come down, arms reach overhead. Inhaling, hands down, hips up. Exhaling, hips down, arms overhead. A couple more like this. Inhaling, hands down, hips up. Exhaling, hips down, arms overhead. Maybe just one or two more of that flow. The next time your hips are down, hold them there And simply focus on the stretch with the arms. If you're noticing any pain in the neck or shoulders with this position, try bending the elbows. Sometimes this helps to take pressure out of the neck and shoulder joint. Now imagine you're breathing with the heart and the breath is pushing out under your ribs and under your armpits. One more easy breath here. Let's lower our hands. Let the knees sway just a little bit left and right. We might feel our hips peeling away from the earth. Match the breath to the movement. Exhale as we twist. Inhale when the knees move through center. We can always keep this gentle sway with the knees, or we can create a little bit of a bigger twist. To create that bigger twist, walk both your feet over towards the left edge of your mat, then push into your feet and twist towards the right. We can open the palms up at shoulder height and maybe turn the head and look just a little bit over to the left, rotating the spine from the tailbone all the way up through the upper back, shoulders, neck, and head. Now notice where it's easier to breathe into. Most likely it's going to be easier to breathe into the top of the left lung. Imagine you're breathing just into your left nostril, into your left lung, then out from the right lung, out from the right nostril. Inhaling left, exhaling right. Now, depending on where our own body is in any moment, we may need more or less of a stretch. So you don't have to do both sides with this stretch. You could stay right here a little longer, or maybe you only do this side today. If you're curious about twisting the other direction, bring your head to neutral first. Slowly lower the hands and let's bring our knees to center. Walk the feet to center. Breathe here for a moment. If you're choosing to change directions in the twist, let's walk our feet just a little bit over to the right edge of the mat. Push into the feet, twisting your knees to the left. And then maybe open the hands up, palms up. Elbows can be bent. Noticing the breath mostly in the upper right lung. Let's breathe into that right lung for a few quiet moments. Now, as a form of meditative awareness, as you inhale, exaggerate the breath in the right nostril down to the right lung. And then imagine that there's a shift to your left lung, and we can exhale out the left nostril, inhaling into the right side of the body and exhaling from the left side of the body. One more easy breath like this, inhaling right, exhaling left. Stay here a little longer if it feels right for you, or take your time. Establish neutral neck and head. Reposition the arms into a safe place. Slowly roll onto the back. Feel the low back and the hips supported by the earth. And if you like, you could bring your knees in towards the chest and belly. Hold on behind the thighs. And maybe just move the feet and the ankles around a little bit. Option to straighten the legs up into legs up the wall. Again, pointing and flexing the feet, and maybe even rolling out the ankles. Let's take the legs out wide. No matter where you are, draw the knees towards the shoulders and armpits for happy baby pose. We can reach towards our feet, maybe even hold on to the toes and add in just a little bit of a rock, left and right. Take your time to establish any still point. If you know that your body is working out any type of busy energy, continue to move at your leisure. Let's allow the body time to prepare itself for final relaxation and meditation. You're always welcome to sit up instead for meditation, or to gather blankets and pillows. Our meditation today, it's a little shorter than usual. It's going to be just under 5 minutes. Let's begin by establishing a gentle, balanced rhythm with the breath. As we inhale, counting to ourselves in our minds, 1, 2, 3. And as we exhale, counting 3, 2, 1. counting faster or slower to create a rhythm that feels authentic to our energy, to our comfort in each moment. Notice if your body wants to pause after the exhale. Inhaling 1, 2, 3. Exhaling 3, 2, 1. And maybe there's a small gap or there's a moment of stillness. If your mind wanders, bring it back to the count. If you notice your mind wandering, congratulate yourself. Noticing that the mind has wandered is the first step in becoming better at meditation. This is a practice in awareness, catching the mind, catching it when it's distracted, and noticing our ability to put it back on track. Inhaling for 3, exhale 3, 2, 1, pause. Let's take the next couple quiet minutes continuing to practice. Now let go of the count and just simply feel for the breath. Notice as you inhale, as each moment is passing, at what point do you feel completely satisfied with the breath? Hold at that point, then let it all go. Maybe a couple more like this. Inhaling as each moment is passing. Pause at that point when you feel, ah, yes, I'm satisfied here. And then let it go. As this concludes our yoga practice for today, when you're ready, wiggle your fingertips, move your toes. You may want to lie here just a little longer and rest. There's no rush in getting up. From here, we can close together. Namaste, everyone.